What's up, rock stars? Today we have a short video. We're going to talk about creating a verbal situation from a two-step linear equation. In other words, you're given an equation, turn it into a word problem. Booyah. Let's see. What did the whale say to the dolphin? Long time no see. S-E-A instead of S-E-E. Weak. Yep. Here we go. Okay, again, we're going to create a verbal situation in context given a two-step linear equation with one variable. In other words, we are going to make a word problem out of a equation. All right, so we usually read word problems, right? So we get a word problem on a test, on a question in our life, in the real world, and we have this scenario where we need to solve it with our problem-solving skills, okay? And so what we normally would do is take that word problem and try to form an equation out of it and then use our math skills to solve the equation. Well, this time we're going to start with an equation and turn it into a word problem or a scenario. The goal is for us to get a better understanding of how the relationships of different quantities work inside that equation. Okay, so we're going to see an equation and we need to start thinking about making a story that fits that equation. So I'm going to give you some tips here that will make this a lot easier. And you'll notice that our equation that just popped up, 120 equals 11z plus 10, is written in all different colors because I wanted to color code what I'm about to show you. Okay, so the first thing you do when you look at an equation is you think about the variable. Okay, look at the variable and try to figure out what you want to do with that variable. Okay, so here's our variable over here. All right, 11z. So when we think about it, we can say the number that's connected to the variable is usually being multiplied by a number. So we can think about 11 per something or 11 each, because whatever that number is, we're going to multiply by 11 and it's going to make our value go up. Okay, so for this problem, we're going to go ahead and say that 11 stands for 11 levels per week, or 11 levels each week. 11 levels of what? Well, we'll get to that. Settle down. Okay, now let's talk about how the side of the equation with a variable must be equal to 120. Okay, so this side over here has to be equal 120. The whole rest of that side has to equal 120. So our 120 is going to have something to do with total levels per weeks. Okay, so it's 120 total levels or weeks. Well, let's figure that out what that is in a second. Now let's talk about the 10. That's the guy that's over there by himself, okay? Now let's talk about the 10. That spot, when you're looking at a linear equation, usually means something that we started with already, or something that was the initial cost of something. Like if you go to you join a club and they say it's $100 to join our club, and then every month it's 50 bucks. So that $100 would be the thing you have to pay up front, and then the other fee is per month. So it's the thing you normally start with. So let's try to make this into a scenario. Okay, let's turn that whole situation into scenario. So remember, we are talking about levels per week. So here's my scenario I came up with. Samaj has finished 120 levels on his video game this year. Okay, 120 levels. When he started the year, he had already finished 10 levels. If he completes 11 levels per week, or 11 levels each week, how many weeks has Samaj played this video game so far this year? So we know he's played 120 levels. We know he started with 10. So we want to figure out is if he does 11 levels each week, how many levels is he doing? How many weeks has he been playing this video game? See how that works? And then you would solve it and get to an answer. Let's try another one. 12x minus 16 equals 68. Well, remember, I told you start with the variable. So this is 12 per something or 12 each. So Caleb gets paid $12 every hour at a restaurant. So $12 per hour or $12 each hour or $12 every hour. Okay? The 68 is the total thing, right? This is the hours or the money, whatever that might be. In this situation, it's going to be money. At the end of the day, Caleb was paid $68. So the restaurant gave him $68 at the end. So he gets paid $12 each hour and he got 68 at the end. So now we got to worry about that negative 16. Remember, this is something that we started with or something that was initial or something that's going to be involved in our scenario. So if you want to eat food at the restaurant while you're working, They just take the cost of the food out of your pay. So while Caleb was at work, he had a meal that cost $16. It's only one meal, so it doesn't need a variable. It just means he ate something that cost $16. So the question would be, how many hours did Caleb work? Well, we know he made $68. We know that he gets $12 each hour. Okay, and we know that he spent 16. So when we solve this, what we're going to find out is how many hours he worked. Okay, so what we would do is we would figure out how to get to the final answer by doing our normal solving equations. We would add 16 to each side and blah, blah, blah. But this scenario, all we're doing is looking to turn this situation into an equation. All right, there it is. That's how it works. Let's make up for that last joke. I don't think you guys liked it. What do cats like to put in their milk? Mice cubes.